You ever been at a blackjack table? You feeling hot?
Ooh.
You ever been on that poker table?
Talk
Texas Hold'em, you're feeling really hot?
Hit me.
We got quarterbacks here in redraft leagues that we are willing to bet the house on a breakout.
Talk it up.
Okay? We're going to give you 2 quarterbacks, 1 each. These are guys that we truly do believe are going to be breakouts this year. We're not going to give you any guys that are already in most people's top 12. We're not going to give you players that have already finished top 12. We want to try and predict some breakouts. Maybe some guys that we're looking to draft later on in 1 quarterback or in Superflex leagues.
Correct.
So let's talk about it. I'm going to give you my first breakout this year at the quarterback position, and that is Trey Lance.
Trigger Trey.
If you have been following us over there on the Dynasty channel, then this is no surprise to you. However, I really do believe there's a breakout year here for Trey Lance.
Okay.
Last year, quarterback 40, but he only started 2 games. So can you really talk about that? No, I don't think so as far as his finish. My predictions for this year, I'll bring them up on the screen. I predict that Trey Lance is going to throw 3,200 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions through the air. Okay, I think that's very realistic.
Okay.
If he starts every game, I think that's a very reasonable expectation. And then rushing on the ground, 130 attempts for 750 yards and 6 touchdowns.
So he's going to use his legs.
That is 7.5 yards or 7.5 attempts per game on the year, which I think is very realistic. And I'll tell you here in a second why. That would, if we're looking at 2021 finishes, that would make him the quarterback 8 last year in scoring if you put those stats up. Okay. Let me tell you why I believe it's going to happen. The value, number one, the value of an entire offseason being the guy. I really don't think we can underestimate. Finally. I really don't think we can underestimate what that does mentally for a player. And the quarterback position, I would argue, is more in here. Your IQ, your confidence, your brain, your composure. I would argue it's more there for any other position. Okay?
Right, okay.
You need to be confident. You need to have control of the offense. Kyle Shanahan's already confirmed that he's going to be the starter. So they've known that since the beginning of this year. George Kittle was on Pat McAfee talking Trey Lance up. I want to tell you about some reports that we've heard so far. Four. But I expect to see a huge leap in his command of the offense, his understanding of the playbook, his leadership, his mojo, his swagger, if you will. When you step into something knowing, all right, it's riding on me, I'm the guy, there's a different type of confidence that you need, and it just naturally happens, if you're a good leader, and Trey Lance is. Let's look at the reports that have already come out this offseason. How about from the defensive coordinator over there in San Francisco, DeMeco Ryans, who's been seeing Trey Lance 2 years now and knows that he's a starter going up against his defense.
Right.
When he was asked about Trey Lance not throwing lazy passes and challenging guys, he said, it's good to see him with his command and him running the offense. He's zipping it past us a lot. He's doing a great job. Good to see him come into his own as a leader and take control of the team. We are fired up for Trey and what he can do for us. How about Jeff Wilson, running back in San Francisco? He said he's growing up. He's maturing at a rapid pace, and it's every day. It's not just since we came back from OTAs. He gets better every day with whatever he needs to. He's been on top of his game. I think he's going to be a great player. And then how about Trey Lance himself? I mean, I could look at so many reports. I mean, we could go on for days. How about Trey Lance himself? Asked about the media, asked about the fans, asked about the Jimmy G situation. I mean, literally, his response was, it's not my job to care. Mic drop. I don't care. I'm here to be a quarterback. You know what I mean? He's like, I really don't care about your question. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Okay. That is the right mindset I want my quarterback to be in. Secondly, let's talk about what we saw from Trey Lance in last year when he was the starter and when he did play. By the way, I think he's going to be a much better player this year. I've already talked about why. But what did he do last year? Week 4 versus Seattle. He was the quarterback 14 on the week, despite only playing 1 half. Okay? He had 7 rushing attempts in 1 half, guys. That would be, obviously, quick maths. That would be 14 for an entire game.
Sheesh.
All right, week five versus Seattle, he was a starter. He was a quarterback 20 on the week without a single touchdown. Okay? Even if he had 1 touchdown, he would have been a top 12 quarterback that week. And he had 16 rushing attempts. How about week 17 versus Houston? He was a quarterback 10 on the week, 8 rushing attempts that week. let's talk about the rushing upside, because this is huge for a guy like Trey Lance. All right. In college, he rushed a lot. And it was a big reason why this 49ers team felt like he could be a dynamic player for their team. Jimmy G wasn't the guy. He wasn't going to cut it. He can only get us so far. We need a dynamic playmaker. That's the teams that win Super Bowls have those game-changing quarterbacks. Right. In 2019, which was his last season in college, keep in mind 2020, he only played one game in college. Okay. In 2019, he rushed for over 1,100 yards and had 14 touchdowns on the ground. This is a guy who uses his legs often. And that's what San Francisco wants. They don't want him to be Jimmy G. They want him to be Trey Lance. If they wanted to be Jimmy G, they wouldn't have spent 3 picks to go get him, okay? By the way, in those 2 starts he had last year, he averaged 12 rushing attempts, okay? That is the same amount of rushing attempts that Lamar Jackson had when he was the quarterback 1 in 2019. Now, is 12 rushing attempts per game realistic? No, it's not realistic. But is 8 to 10 rushing attempts realistic? Well, he hasn't averaged less than 8 a game. Like I said, he was doing 12 last year. In one half, he had 7. So I would say 8 to 10 is a realistic expectation. In my prediction, in my expectations for him that I told you earlier, I said he would have 130 rushing attempts. That was only 7.5 rushing attempts per game. So I still think what I've brought is relatively realistic. All right, so he's going to be rushing a lot, and that's going to be something that's potentially going to hurt Elijah Mitchell. It might hurt some of these receivers. It might hurt George Kittle. It might hurt Debo. Who knows? But he's going to bring a different type of X factor to this team that they haven't seen yet. And the weapons on the team, it is so hard to not be successful when you have these weapons around you.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel did so much for Jimmy G. And Jimmy G didn't have to do much to make himself relevant, okay? He'll be back. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, Danny Gray. I mean, this team has been historically great at developing weapons and allowing their quarterbacks to really succeed with them. Last year, Jimmy G, guys, finished as the quarterback 17, and he missed 2 games with these weapons. What could Trey Lance do? What could Trey Lance do with these weapons? Truly, it is a top 6 to 7 upside for Trey Lance. I've sit here and said that he's going to have a quarterback 8 finish. That's
right.
where I think he can finish. He's currently being drafted as a quarterback 15, and it's very early in the offseason, so this could change. But I love, in one quarterback redraft leagues, I love going late quarterback. You will never see me draft a quarterback in a real draft before the 7th round.
Yep.
Okay? Never. I will always go running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends before. Maybe tight ends, questionable, but definitely running backs and wide receivers. So I will be aiming to draft Trey Lance in every league possible this year, because if I can keep getting him as the anywhere from quarterback 12 to 15, I will be smashing that in drafts every single time. So I feel like Trey Lance is truly on the verge of a breakout, and I'm betting on him in redraft leagues.
Yeah. Trigger Trey, I mean, we got to wait and see. I like Trey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what in my gut saying, hey, I don't know. I think
great analysis there.
One thing I can say is that I do believe he will struggle in the first year, just like any other rookie quarterback, because we haven't seen him on the field for a whole season. And I think,
would you say that Jalen Hurts struggled in his rookie year?
Absolutely.
Last year? Okay, well, I just presented very similar stats from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he will struggle, maybe not making other people fantasy relevant, or just making himself relevant, which is fine. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Anyways, that's besides the point. My breakout player, like Zach saying, all the guys we believe in, for me, it is Zach Wilson and the Jets, Jetss, Jets. I mean, this is the guy. I love this guy. He finished last year QB 30, missed 4 games, and my 2022 prediction is around QB 11.
Okay.
I think that's pretty, I think modest in my opinion. But I think he can throw over 3,900 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he won't rush as much. 57 rushing attempts with 318 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. That is QB 11 numbers according to 2021. I think that's pretty realistic for Zach Wilson. let's just start in the beginning, okay? There's really three reasons why I believe he can definitely improve coming into this year.
Sure.
And let's start with the offseason, right? The Jets hands down had one of the best drafts in this year, in this year's draft. Listen to the 3 first-round picks. There are 4 first picks, okay? Ahmad Gardner, one of the best lockdown corners in this draft. Garrett Wilson, my wide receiver 1 in this class, okay? Yeah. Jermaine Johnson, who they traded up to get, is an absolute steal at the end of the first round. And then brother Brees himself, the best do-it-all back in this class. I mean, how can they not be better with just this draft, like just these 4 picks, right? The defense is gonna help Zach Wilson stay on the field longer, and then with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, I mean, this could be a good opportunity for him in year 2, right? Yeah. So let's go and let's see what he did in 2021, right? Every rookie struggles, no doubt about it. Just like I just said about Trey Lance and Jalen Hurts, et cetera. They struggled in the first half of the season, and the game starts to slow down for them, right? The first half of the season, weeks 1 to 7, before Zach Wilson was injured, he was QB 30. He gets injured, he comes back. Weeks 12 to 8, Wilson was a QB 12.
12 to 18.
Excuse me?
You said 12 to 8, so I'm just sure 12 to 18.
Weeks 12 to 18, he was a QB 12. We saw those little glimpses of games where, like I said, the games were slowing down for him. He was understanding. He was reading the defenses. He was breaking it down. He was making better decisions. You know, he was improving in the ball placement, which was a struggle. He was throwing the ball less to defenders, which was causing, because he was throwing a lot of interception. My guy was having 3 to 4 interceptions a game. It felt like he had too many interceptions. One of his best games, week 16 versus the Jags. Once again, the decision making was improving. The ball placement was great. To be fair, he didn't really have a crazy stat. He only threw for 102 yards. He threw 1 touchdown, but he rushed for 91 yards, 4 attempts, 91 yards, and a touchdown. That was QB4. Hey, I think more realistic, less rushing yards and more passing yards, especially now with Breece and Garrett Wilson in this offense. Another year in this offense with John Sala, with Elijah Moore, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go to the weapons, actually. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, and CJ Who's Your Mama. This team is stacked. These are 6 weapons now Zach Wilson had, where before he only had Elijah Moore and Corey Davis and Michael Carter. He just added 3 more guys, 3 top-tier guys, Wilson, Breece, and CJ Who's Your Mama, that can really come and contribute. Maybe not CJ, but definitely those other guys will definitely come in and help Zach Wilson improve to the next level. Once again, 2nd year in this offense with this team, with this head coach. They feel more comfortable, in this offense. It takes a while. And I think that's what's going to happen. These Jets are going to be sneaky. These Jets are going to win some games. Zach Wilson needs to stay healthy, because if he does stay healthy, there's no doubt in my mind he can finish as a top 12 quarterback. Once again, I'm being modest. I really want to say my guy can be a top 8, but I don't want to plant that flag right now. Maybe later on in the season. But for me, I do believe he could be that guy. He's currently going as QB 14. Right before, it's Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Yeah. Pick your poison. Obviously, the rushing upside is probably definitely better, no doubt about it. But hey, Zach Wilson, another year in his belt with this offense on the field, I think it could be a steal. And just like Zach, I like to draft quarterbacks late in these 1 quarterback leagues, and I think that just makes more sense. Go with high upside guys. Like, you can get the Josh Allens, the Kyler Murrays, those guys, but get these high upside guys later on in drafts and then solidify other positions later.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah. Zach Wilson's an interesting one. I think talent-wise, I have never questioned that he could be a top 12 quarterback based off of his talent. We'll just wait and see have things connected up here. Is the mojo there? Does he have the confidence? And, there is a lot to be said for when a team adds a game-changing wide receiver. Now, is Garrett Wilson that game-changing wide receiver? We'll find out, right? We've seen a lot of young quarterbacks take that next step. Josh Allen when he got Stephon Diggs. Joe Burrow when he got Jamar Chase, right? So you do see quarterbacks take that next step. Typically, at some point, unless there's already good receivers around them, a lot of times it's attributed to a wide receiver coming in. So I think there's enough around him to be that. there are just so many quarterbacks that are good this year.
Exactly. It's
So
tough.
I think both of these takes are really hard to like. That's where I think he's gonna finish.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. That's why I'm saying I'm being modest. I really want to say top 8, but I think top QB 11, QB 12 feels really good, really comfortable. That's definitely
Zach,
a breakout.
I would be happy with like quarterback 15, to be honest. Like
Actually,
that's where I
you can
feel
go
happy
lower.
with.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's
for
double.
Trey,
That's double than
if
what he finished
Trey
last year.
doesn't finish as a top 12 guy, I'll be significantly disappointed. I'll say that.
Yeah,
He will be in my top 12.
that would suck.
Anyway, let us know. Comment down below. Who is a quarterback that you think is going to break out? You can let us know in the comments below.
Yo, what's good?
What
Thanks
up?
for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
Now,
it.
You can also subscribe
Right now,
if you want to.
you need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.